Alright, what's up everybody? This is going to be a tour of Castle Ravenloft. Just so you know, the inside of the castle is not decorated. It is just purely to understand the layout of the castle. Obviously, there's a spoiler warning, so if you're not a DM, if you're just a player, don't watch this. I'm only going to be talking about the entrances and exits to the rooms, and anything of mechanical importance like traps, combat, or treasure. I'm going to be skipping a lot of the flavor text that comes with the book, so if you feel like you're missing a lot of stuff, actually go read the book. This is going to be really long, so let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start with the front courtyard here. This is K1. The only real entrance here is that those main doors to K7 right there. Special features, there is the gate towers here. You can cast Dispel Magic, which will activate the drawbridge over here. Let's move on to K2. This is the center court gate. You can lift that up with a DC 15 strength check. There's one on this side, there's one on the other side of the castle as well. K3 is going to be your servant's courtyard. So that it's got a door to K4 right here and a door to K23 over here. Special features are that this door right here has to be opened with a DC 10 strength check. So let's go to K4. This is your carriage house. Nothing special about this other than this is where the carriage is kept. K5, this is going to be the chapel garden. There's a little garden right here in front of the chapel. Nothing really special about that. Let's move on to the overlook down here, K6. Nothing really, only entrance to this is just that area right there, K5. You can do a DC 15 perception check to notice the tomb down here, and could potentially climb down to it. Alright, so we're going to fly all the way back to the beginning here, and go to K7, which is going to be the entry. So this is K7, which is the entryway. The only entrances are K1 right here, the door out to K1, and then the door over to K8. Special to this room is that there's going to be 4 red dragons, statues up near the ceiling. They don't attack upon entering, but if anybody tries to leave through this way, they do attack. So let's go to K8 right here. Entrances, this is the Great Entry. Entrances to this room obviously include K7, which we just came from, K19 up those stairs, K14 through these doors, and K9 down this hallway. About this room, Rahadin is going to walk down these stairs right when the party first enters, and then there's 8 gargoyles in this room which are going to attack if anybody comes back through this room again for a second time. Let's move on to K9, which is the guest hall right here. The entrances is there's K8 right here, there's K21, which is these stairs over here, and then there's going to be K14, or sorry, we are looking at, yeah, that's K21, and then there's K10 through here. Nothing really special about this room. So let's go to K10. This is going to be your dining hall. Entrances to that are, there's K9 right through there, and then there's going to be the dining table laid out here. This is where Strahd's dinner is going to take part. There's going to be an organ blocking the secret door through to K11 over here. If you go through that secret door, it brings you to K11, which is the South Archer's Post. Again, nothing really special about this one other than that secret door here, and then the entrance to K12 over here. Give me a second. Alright, so now we're looking at K12, which is the turret post. There's K11 over here, and then K13 is this long hallway over here. Nothing really special about this one. Same with K13, which is just the turret post access hall, other than it gives you access from K12 to K64 here, which are stairs that we will get to later. Alright, so we are going to go back to K14, which is the Hall of Faith. So back through the dining hall here, back through the guest hall into the main entry, grand entryway. So now we're in K14, which is the Hall of Faith. Obviously there's an entrance to K8 where we just came from, and an entrance to K15. Nothing else special about this hallway. K15 is the chapel. So we're looking at the entrance to K14, and there's K16 over here and K17 over here. And then the altar, behind the altar is going to be, if you have a card reading that has the Fortune of Ravenloft, that's behind the altar here. In front of the altar there's going to be I forget the guy's name, but some guy, and he's got a Mace of Terror in front of it. There's also going to be the icon of Ravenloft right here on top of the altar. If Strahd is in this room, he's going to be among the bats up in the tops there. So let's go to K16. Sorry about that, I have to keep pausing that. I've got my page of notes on a different tab. So K16 is just North Chapel access. All we really have is an entrance to K15 and K29 over here, which we're going to get to later with those stairs. So let's go back to K17. This is South Chapel access, obviously access to K15 and Chapel, and access to K18, which are some really long stairs. We're going to do that right now. K18 is the High Tower staircase. So entrance obviously right here to K17 in the chapel. You can go down these stairs. Partway down the stairs there's going to be a wall with a crack that can be noticed by the party, but a DC 10 perception check to notice that crack, and it takes an hour to work your way, like to make a big enough hole to get through there. We're going to go up the stairs. Start this way. This is going to take a little bit. We're going all the way to the very top on the 8th floor. Alright, so these stairs, as you can see, go all the way up from that bottom floor where the chapel is, all the way up to area K59. We're going to talk about K59 once they're up there, because I don't want to have to walk back up to these stairs another time later. Alright, so this is K59, which is going to be the top of this tower. What's important about here, this is the High Tower peak. There's obviously K18, which is those stairs that we did. There's K18A, which is this long shaft that goes down the middle of the stairs. Up here is where you're going to do a perception check for Piddlewick 2's stealth, if you were going to try to find Piddlewick 2. And then obviously there's a hole out here, so you can kind of see that's where the tower looks like that we just came up. So we're going to go ahead and just drop down this shaft. Alright, so that was K18A. These stairs, K18, drop us off right down at the very bottom of the castle, which is, these are the catacombs, which we'll come to later. That's area K84. If we follow these back up, we'll find that wall, go ahead and break through that, and then that's going to bring us back up to K17. So that was K18. Now we're going off to K19, which is the landing. That's the stairs that Rahadin's going to walk down into this grand entryway. So there's K19 up here. There are going to be stairs up to, there's obviously, it comes from K8 down there. There's going to be stairs up to K25 up here, which we'll get to. There's traps, these gold things, pressure plates are going to be anytime there's a trap, and there's going to be suits of armor in both of these alcoves that reach out and hit anyone that walks by. These are the same stairs that also walk up to the same K25. Alright, now we are going to K20. So, this one's a little harder to get to, so we will get to a lot of these rooms in a little bit. K20 is going to be the... Oh, well, there goes that door. K20 is going to be the Heart of Sorrow. So that's going to be this big tower with the Heart of Sorrow at the top. Let's actually start down at the bottom. So with K20, the entrances are... I do want to point out that there's K13 and K22 just like on the other side. Again, there's nothing really important over here. K12, K13, K22, just kind of to mirror image the other side of the castle. So here's K20. You're going to have K20A, which is going to be the stairs that go down. This goes down to K71, down on the first floor of the basement. We'll get there later. You can follow K20 up, and that's it's got a lot of different entrances. So there's those two entrances that I pointed out, that hallway there, the main stairway that goes down to the basement. On the ground floor, there are a number of entrances here. So on first floor, there's also K13 again, and K22, K12, K22. There's this doorway that no longer exists that we came through to K33 here. And there's this secret doorway here to, what is this, K34 that we'll get to later. Alright, so we can go up from the first floor to the second floor, and we're going to see, or this is, I think this might be the third floor actually. So now we're going to see K45 right here as an entrance. We're going to have two separate entrances to K46, which is just the walls. So there's this entrance over here, and then this entrance over here to the walls. You can see that it kind of comes out both directions from the tower. Alright, so we're going to follow this up a bit. This goes up to the heart, at the same level of the heart there. You're going to have your entrance to K58 over here, and then this is going to go up to K60 up here. There's a lot going on with the Heart of Sorrow, obviously, so I won't talk about all of it, but there's, the Heart of Sorrow itself, the staircase, the spiral staircase all moves with the heart. There are animated halberds, and there are vampire spawn. So give me a second to move again. Alright, so now we are going, actually we're going to go out and around to the front to get to our next area, which is K21, which is going to be another staircase. So here we are in that, the grand entryway, K9 here. Here's K21. So let's go down to the bottom of here. Alright, so this water hallway here, this is going to be K73, which we'll talk about later. It goes up another floor to K61, which is where your elevator trap is that we'll talk about later. It goes up another floor to the main floor, which is going to be K9 out here. It's going to go up another floor to K30. This is K30 out here. We'll get to that in a bit. And then we've got another floor to K35 up here. This looks like K33. And then, right, so it also goes all the way up here to K47. We'll talk about K47 in a bit, and then it switches to a different staircase. So that's the entirety of the staircase there. Sorry, I had a couple of the numbers wrong. Alright, so we already talked about K22. It was just those North Archers posts at the end of the long hallways. So now we're going to try to leave the castle again. See if I can even figure my way out of here. Right. Man, I built this whole thing and I still get lost in it. Right, so now we are going to the servants' entrance, which is K23. So that's around the back. That's if they're managed to get through that courtyard doorway. This is that door that I talked about earlier. It's going to take a DC 10 strength check to open this door. So it's got that entrance to the courtyard out here through K23. It's got stairs coming down here. Those stairs are going to go to K62 and K63, obviously, as we'll see later. And then it's got an entrance right here to K24. So let's go into K24. This is your servants' quarters. Alright, and so we've got exits down to K23, and we've got stairs all the way up to K34, which we'll talk about later. we are going to now go up to the second floor. Let's go back in through the main entrance just so you can kind of, well, it might just be the easiest way, and it kind of helps to see it over again. We're going to go up through K19 to get to the the Court of the Count, which is K25. We've got those stairs down to K19 on this side and on this side. We've got an entrance to K26, which is going to be this hallway right here. We've got an entrance to K30 right here. We've got the throne there, obviously, so this is going to be where if you have a card reading that's in this room, it's going to be here behind the throne. If you meet Strahd, he's going to be on the throne. There's also a door here to K13, which is a DC 16 perception check to find that. And this will take you to K13, which can get confusing because it's K13 on the second floor, not K13 on the first floor. There are going to be 4 different K13s, one on the first floor on left and right, and one on the second floor on left and right. And then obviously there's a window here which you can break your way out of, although it doesn't seem like it would be a very good one to jump out of. Next we are going to go to K26. That's right here. This is going to be the guard's post. You got entrances to K25 where we just came from. There's a secret door over here to K33. And then there's a door through to K27 here, so we're going to go to that next. There's nothing really special about K26. This is K27. This one's going to be the King's Hall. This one, special feature of this one is it's going to have that Flight of the Vampire trap of the fake vampire that comes swinging down and along here. It's obviously got the entrance to K26 that we just came through, an entrance to K28 that we're going to get to, and then a secret door here, I believe, to K31. Alright, so let's go to K28. Alright, so this is K28. This is the King's Balcony. There's going to be 2 zombies sitting on the chairs right there overlooking the chapel. Obviously there's K25 that we just came through there. There's going to be there's going to be there's going to be K29 here, and that's going to be the stairs that we talked about earlier. These stairs just take you down to the chapel, K16, from K16 back up to the King's Balcony, and that's all that those stairs do. Alright, so that's K28 and K29. Now we're going all the way back in through here to get to the King's Accountant, which is K30. Alright, so this is K30, which is the King's Accountant. Let's see, we've got an entrance to K25 over here. We've got an entrance to K21 right here. I don't know if these are the stairs, right, that I said drop you off here. We looked at that earlier. Right, so in this room you're going to meet Leif Leipzig, and there's going to be a DC 15 investigation check to find the key to unlock the chest in this room. There's going to have some money and a manual of bodily health. I'm skipping any treasure that talks about money and only talking about ones like the manual of bodily health, which has some kind of impact on the game other than money. Alright, so next we're going to go back through here to get to K31, which is the Trapworks. This is K31. So you can see that this is the Trapworks. It's got an exit right here at K27. It's got a lever right here, which is actually going to activate the elevator trap. I couldn't obviously build an elevator trap in Minecraft. We'll talk about this actual elevator shaft or trap later, but the K31 is also extended onto the next floor up, which is going to be K31B, and it's just kind of an overlook. And then the elevator trap, well, I'll say again later, but that goes all the way up to I believe this is K47 right here. Alright, so sorry about that. Well, guess we just fell to the bottom. Alright, so that's K31. Let's see, what are we on to next? Right, so next is K32, just back through this way, back through K26, through the secret door, into K33, and then there's a door in K33, which leads to K32. Only one entrance here, and that's through K33 right here. This is called Maiden Hell, and then there's going to be a vampire spawn that will follow the party around and betray them at an opportune moment. This is K33, which is the King's Apartments stair. There is an entrance to K32 right here. There's going to be stairs up here to K45. You can go up the stairs and get to K45, this hallway. There's going to be a door. Let's just go ahead and put a door back here. This is a secret door, which will take you to K13, which we've been in, and there's the Heart of Sorrow Tower. And then, of course, the secret door back this direction too, to K26. And then we are going to go to the servant's upper floor, right? So that's going to be, easiest way for us to get to that is here's the Heart of Sorrow, and then through here. So, as I talked about earlier, this was the servants' quarters. This is the servants' entrance that we talked about. So if you go through the servants' entrance, into K24 here, and if you go up the stairs, you're going to find K34. So it's got K24 down there. It's going to have a ladder to K20, which is secret, and that's going to take you to the Heart of Sorrow, which is probably the easiest way to get to the Heart of Sorrow if they can find this. And then I think there's nothing too important in this room. It's just kind of like some flavor text with a dress that dances around. Alright, we are going to be going to K35 next. Give me a second to find the best way there. Alright, so we are going to fly all the way back to the beginning, the main entrance, and approach it through this direction. Toss those out. Alright, so we're going to go up K21 here. This will take us to K30, which is the accountant, which we saw earlier. If we keep going up, this is going to take us to K33. Perfect. Alright, so this is the King's sorry, K33 is the wrong number. This is K35. Right, so this is the Guardian Vermin. So we've got an entrance to K21, the stairs right there, and an entrance to K36. And then there's going to be 4 rat swarms in here, which will fight the party. This is K36. That's going to be the dining hall of the Count. We've got K35 through this entrance. There's a window out into K46, which is the walls that you can break through. There's K43 through here. There's going to be K37 through here. There's going to be, this is the dining hall of the Count, so that's going to be the wedding cake is in here that's been moldy. There's going to be some treasure, which is the DOS loot. Through here is going to be K37. This is called the study. This is going to be one of the teleport destinations. There's a fireplace over here. It doesn't really look like a fireplace. There's going to be, if you had a card reading that has the treasure here, it's going to be above the fireplace. There's going to be a big portrait of Irina up there. If Strahd is here, he's going to be sitting in front of the fireplace. There's that entrance here to K36. There's going to be an entrance here to K42. There's an entrance here to K83, which is the big stairway. It'll take you all the way down to the basement from here. It doesn't go up from here, this is the top. There's K45 through here, which is this weird long hallway. Alright, and then the secret doorway through K38. It's a fireplace. If you put the fire out and pull one of the pokers on the side, it'll open the secret door. So that takes us to K38, which is the false treasury. There's going to be a chest in here. If you try to open it, it knocks you all out with sleeping gas. There's a secret door to K37 and another secret door to K39 here. So if we go through this secret door to K39, we're in the Hall of Webs. We've got that secret door to K38. There's K40 through here, and then K31 A and B through here, which is going to be that second floor of the elevator shaft that we talked about. Nothing special in there other than some webs. If you go through here, this is K40, which is the belfry. We've got an entrance to K39 over here. We've got K41, which is a secret door. There's going to be a rope hanging down, a bunch of spider webs. If you pull the rope, 5 giant spiders come down and attack. K41 is the treasury, so just that one entrance. There's going to be a bunch of treasure in here, including a +2 shield, an alchemy jug, a helm of brilliance, a +1 rod of the Pact Keeper, and 4 potions of greater healing. Alright, we're going to leave through there, and we are going to go to K42, which is the King's Bedchamber, which I believe is right through here. Yeah, okay, so this is K42, which is the King's Bedchamber. What have we got here? So we've got K37 that we came from, we've got K43 through here, we've got the window right here, which you could jump out to get into K46, and we've got a secret door over here, which takes you to K45, which is that weird hallway. Alright, so that's King's Bedchamber. Gertruda is going to be found in this room. If we go through here, we're going to get to K43. K43 is going to be the bath chamber. Entrance to K42, entrance to K36 over here. Entrance to K44 back here, and back there. Nothing really special about this room. There's a bathtub and a really creepy blood illusion that jumps out and crawls away. K44 is just the closet. You've got those entrances to K43 and then the windows out to K46 here. So now we're going to that weird hallway I keep talking about, which is K45, through some secret doors here. Right, so this is going to be your Hall of Heroes. There's going to be the entrance, the secret entrance to K42. There's going to be these stairs right here that'll take us down to K33, down here. We've also got an entrance here to K20, which is our Heart of Sorrow. And then an entrance over here to K37. And then there's the fireplace. Alright, all we've got left on this floor is the parapets. As you can see, it's just walls around the tower. There's a couple different entrances to K20, there and there. There are going to be, so while we're flying around, there's going to be combat. After 5 minutes, the party will run into Strahd's animated armor, which is just patrolling. There's going to be entrance to K64 right there, windows to K36, windows to K44, and then windows to K42. Alright, so we are going to be going to K47 next for the Portrait of Strahd. So give me a second to find my best way there. Alright. So, let's see. Sorry, I told you I still get lost in this place. So if we go through K... Alright, we're just going to go through the main entrance here. We're going back to K21, which is apparently a staircase that I have no idea how to get to on most floors. So if we take K21 all the way up to the top, which is past K30, past K35, we get all the way up to K47. Now K47 is going to be the Portrait of Strahd, so there's going to be an entrance to K21 here, entrance to K48 through here. There's going to be the trapdoor here to the elevator shaft, so if your players get caught in the elevator trap, this is where it's going to end up, this is where they're going to get pulled through. So that's K47, the portrait stair. the Portrait of Strahd. This is K48, which is the off stair. Put a little sign there. So this is the off stair. It's got an exit to K47 down here. It's got an exit to K54 right here, which we'll take later, and then another exit all the way at the top, which we'll again also do later, to K57, which is the top of the tower here. And we'll get to that in a bit. Right now we are going to K48, or this is K48, so we're going to be going to K49, which is through here. So now we're in K49, this is the lounge. This is where all of you people are going to meet Escher, who is apparently a fan favorite. I say apparently, he's my favorite too. There's going to be K47 through there, there's going to be K50 through here, and then there's going to be windows out to K53, which is the rooftops. So let's go here to K50. This is the guest room. Got exits from K49 and to K51. If we go through to K51, this is just the closet entrance to K50, and also there's the secret trapdoor, and that's going to be up to area K55. Alright, so now we're going to K52. K52, interestingly enough, is the chimney outside, so we're going to break out really fast. And so K52 is this chimney right here. So it looks like with this chimney, the smokestack, obviously there's an exit out to K53, which is the rooftops here. You can also drop down the chimney, land in the fireplace, which is underneath Irina's portrait that we found earlier, and take some fire damage probably, and some falling damage. K53 is the rooftops. You can jump out through the windows there. I think those are pretty much the only windows that are going to let you out on these rooftops, and then you're going to have to make dex checks to not fall off the rooftops and down onto the parapets below. Alright, so now we're going back in, if I can, there we go. And we are going up. Alright, so this is K54. This is going to be the familiar room, entrance to K48, the stairs, and K55 through here. There's going to be cats in here that kind of act as an alarm system for the witches. This is K55, nothing special here, it's just called the element room, entrance to K54, 54, K56, and this trapdoor down here that we saw earlier to area 51. And then windows that you could jump out, but would probably be a bad idea to jump out there. K56 is the cauldron room, so just that one entrance, and it's going to have all the witches in here with their cauldron. Alright, so we are going to go back up these stairs here, and we're going to the very top. This is area K57, this is called the tower roof. So you can see you'll get a nice view of the castle down there. You can see the rest of that first long stairway that we went way up, and then the reason I don't want to go back up there to find Piddlewick again. So then this has that exit right to K48, these stairs, and K58, which is the bridge. So now we're on K58, which is the bridge. K57 over there, the tower roof. K20, the Heart of Sorrow right here. Just kind of right in front of their faces from the bridge. Dex check to make sure you don't fall off of the bridge because of how windy it is. Alright, so K59 was the top of this tower up here that we don't want to go back to, just because that would take too long to get to. So we're going to go to the top of the Heart of Sorrow tower to get to K60. This is your North Tower peak. Let's see, yeah, so we've got K20 as an entrance, K60A as an entrance, so we'll go up to K60A really quick. K60A is just called the North Tower rooftop. There's nothing really up here other than a bunch of bats that attack the players in a couple rounds if they stay up here. So this is K60 again, at the top of the Heart of Sorrow. This is going to be a teleport destination. There's going to be a chest there with some manacles. The card reading is going to be inside the chest and that's going to be locked by Cyrus Bellevue's key. If Strahd's up here, he's going to be next to the chest that's over there. Alright, so now we are going all the way down, actually. So I'll go back up through here. And now we're starting the basement section of the castle. So, going back to the main entrance, back to K9, main entry, K9, these stairs. I'm going down these stairs, one floor to the basement. This is going to take us to the elevator trap. So you've seen this a couple times. I don't really want to explain how the elevator trap is, how it works, but if they step here, they get taken up to the top, and then the rock crushes down there. Yeah, we've got an entrance to K21 behind us. We've got an entrance to K62 through here, and then K47 is up through the very top there, that trapdoor that we showed earlier. So let's go to K62. This is our servants' hall. So this one is going to have an exit to K61, which we saw, exit to K67, K66 through this door, K65 through those doors. There's going to be stairs up to K23, which is this servant's entrance that we saw earlier. And then K63, which is this area back here. This whole thing is called the Servants' Hall. It's where you find Cyrus Bellevue. 63 is the wine cellar. Just has this one entrance to 62 here. If your card reading here is in here, it's going to be in an empty wine flask or cask around here. Next we're going to go find K64, which is the guard's stair, which I think is through here. Makes me jump around a bunch here. So K64 is going to be this guard stair. It starts down here. We can follow that up to K13, which is this hallway. It's near where the organ was. If you move the organ, you can get in here. We can keep following this up, and it's going to take us up to K46. Sorry about that, it takes us to K13 again. I forgot about that. On the second floor, this is that throne room. So we can keep following it up now. And then up to K46, which is the parapets. So let's go back down. Again, this is the guard stair. Alright, next we've got the kitchen, K65. Alright, so we gotta go back out through to here. This is K62, so the K65 should be here, which is going to be the kitchen. Just the entrance to K62 out here. There's going to be a bunch of zombies cooking in a pot, and that's about it for that. K66 is going to be our butler's quarters, which I believe is over here. Nothing special about that, just where you find Cyrus Bellevue. K67 is going to be through here. This is going to be your Hall of Bones. This is where you're going to find Argynvost skull down here. There's going to be, if you have a card reading, it's going to be on the bone table. Strahd's going to be down at the table if you have him here also. K68 is going to be the guard's run. So that's this room right here. Obviously it takes us to these stairs that we just went up earlier that took us all the way up to the parapets. It gives us area to access to K69. Nothing special about this room. K69 is the guard's quarters. If they go in here, there's no real other entrances, and they just get attacked by a bunch of skeletons. Alright, so now we're going to K70, which is the Kingsman Hall. Should be through here. So this is K70, the Kingsman Hall, exit to K67 here, K72 through here, and then K71, which is right here. Nothing special about this room. K71 is the Kingsman Quarters. It's just going to take you to K70 here, and if we follow these stairs up, maybe you remember these, this takes us to K20, which is at the bottom of the Heart of Sorrow, if we keep going up. So let's go back down. That's K7071. K72 is the Chamberlain's office, exit to K71. Secret exit to K79 through here. This is where you're going to be fighting Rahadin if you haven't, and then a Shadow Demon as well. Alright, so we're going to go back a little bit so we can get to K73. Let's find the elevator trap again. Okay, and we're going to, this was K21 here that we took down to here. We're going to continue down. Alright, we are on the last floor of the castle now. So this is K73, the dungeon hall. It's got that exit to K21 there. It's got a bunch of traps here, so if you step on one of these traps in the water, it's going to take you into one of these cells on one of these sides. Got an exit to K74, 75, and K76. So K74 is the north dungeon. It's got that entrance to K73, and also one of the cells. It's got this slide over here, K82. Some of the cells are going to have treasure, so you've got to push into Hero Zone, a +1 short sword that's sentient. There's going to be a combat with the Grey Ooze. K75 is over here, which is the south dungeon, only that one entrance here. Sorry, one of the cells is going to have Emil the Werewolf in it, and that's about it as far as mechanical stuff goes. The rest is all kind of flavor. K76 is the torture chamber here. There's going to be a combat with 6 zombies that are in the water. There's an entrance to K73, and then K77 is this balcony up here. So if you go to K77, it's the observation balcony. Obviously there's K76 right there, K78 through here. If you go through the curtain. So that takes us to K78, which is the brazier room. Brazier, I don't know how you would pronounce that. So if you go through here, here's K78. Where are we? Okay, so we've got K77 through here, and then we've got K79 through here, K80, and K83. So we're going to go through all of those. Let's start with, obviously there's a brazier room, so this is going to be how you teleport places, and there's iron golems that attack if you attack them. So this is K79, which is going to be the western stair. Takes you up to this secret door, and this is where Rahadin was at K72. Down here there's a little bit of a trap. It's not really a trap, it just makes us an illusion of Strahd appear, who basically says go away, and then laughs at them. K80 is this center stair. It's going to take you up to K81. This is down from 78, the brazier room, to 81, which is the tunnel. If we walk along the tunnel, you see that it came from K80, the stairs. It's got a slide trap down K82 right here. This is the marble slide, it takes you down to K74 that we saw earlier. And then it takes you to let's see, what is this? It's going to take you out to the catacombs, which is K84. We're not quite there yet because we have to go, oh yeah, we're going through here. Now we're going to go find K83, which is the spiral stair. See, these are the catacombs. Wrong, sorry, we've been there. We'll get here in a second. Right, we've got to go back down this tunnel, back down to the final staircase. This is K83, sorry. This is going to be your spiral stair. So it starts down here in K78. It kind of takes you up to a little bit of a landing right here. I think there's just a painting of Strahd's father, nothing really else, and then you can keep following it up, and it's going to take us to K37, which we've been in before. Alright, and this is K37, there's the fireplace and the portrait of Verena up there. Alright, we are almost done. Alright, so now we're back in K78. We're trying to get to K84, which is the catacombs. We can get there by the end of this long tunnel with the slide in it. These are all the catacombs. I'm not going to talk through each catacomb because that would take another hour. It's got all the crypts. Here's K84 or K85 right here, which is Sergei's tomb. He's going to be wearing a +2 plate of armor. There might be a card reading that there's treasure inside the coffin, or Strahd laying across it. All these crypts that you can walk past and enter into. There is. Right, so there's these stairs down here, which we saw earlier. This is the one that had the big long shaft that we dropped all the way down. Goes lots of places. Right, so next is K86, which is down at the other end. It's Strahd's tomb. He is going to have some traps that block off the entrance to his tomb, so if you step into any of these spots, you get teleported away. Best way into his tomb is probably going to be teleporting in with the brazier. This is Strahd's tomb. There's going to be 3 vampire spawns in here that'll attack. It's a teleport destination. Strahd's in his coffin after he gets killed, or if it's in a card reading. And if there's a treasure here, it's going to be in the center alcove right here. Okay, last couple ones here. We've got K87, which is called Guardians. That's going to be this room right here. It's got a big wall of light that only lets lawful good people past. And you can kind of sneak around the corner if you aren't. And that takes us to K88, which is the tomb of King Barov and Queen Ravenovia. If you have a card reading that says there's a treasure, it's going to be on the Queen's coffin, and then Strahd would be in here being all frenzied, and you can kind of see out. So let's just hop out right here. Bunch of bats, which is nice and appropriate, and yeah, that is all of Castle Ravenloft in a little over 45 minutes. Thanks for sticking with me.